The Old House, a Ghost Story. The cold Scottish wind howled outside my window on that winter morning in 1995, but I had no idea my life was about to change forever. My name is Sophie, and I live in a cozy cottage with my grandmother Rose. She's been my whole world since my parents moved to Australia when I was just a baby, and they never came back for me. Every evening, she fills our home with wonderful stories about our big family's mysterious past. That morning, we heard the crunch of boots on our gravel pathway. Through the frosted window, I saw our postman, clutching a large brown envelope to his chest. My hands trembled slightly as I opened it. Something about that envelope felt different, important somehow. Inside was a letter written in elegant handwriting from Mrs. Wilson, a lawyer from Edinburgh. The letter spoke of my great-aunt Victoria, a woman I'd only seen in faded photographs hanging on our cottage walls. She quietly disappeared during the harsh winter months, and here's what made my breath catch in my throat: she had left me her magnificent Victorian house in the historic heart of Edinburgh. Me, 20-year-old Sophie, now owned a piece of my family's history. Grandmother Rose's eyes sparkled with excitement as she talked about renting the house to pay for my dream of attending music school. But deep in my heart, a different desire was growing stronger with each passing moment. I needed to live there, to walk its halls, to uncover its mysteries. Despite the practical voice in my head suggesting otherwise, I knew this was my destiny calling. As evening drew near and storm clouds gathered over, Grandmother finally understood the longing in my eyes. She agreed to let me try living there for 1 month. That night, as we packed my winter clothes by candlelight, neither of us could have imagined the incredible secrets waiting for me. And when Mrs. Wilson's final warning echoed in my mind, "Just don't play the violin at night," I had no idea those words would lead me to the most haunting mystery Edinburgh had ever known. The old house felt like a place frozen in time. Heavy curtains covered tall windows, and old paintings watched me from every wall. A thick layer of dust covered the beautiful antique furniture. The air smelled like old books and wood. Something about the house made my heart beat faster. Late that night, I couldn't sleep because of the heavy rain outside. The wind made the windows shake, and shadows danced on my bedroom walls. Then, I heard something that made my blood freeze. The sweet, sad sound of a violin came from somewhere below. It was playing a melody I had never heard before. My hands were shaking, but I had to know where the music was coming from. I took my flashlight and walked down the dark hallway. The wooden floor creaked under my feet. The violin music grew louder as I got closer to the library. My heart was pounding in my chest. Then the music stopped suddenly, and I heard footsteps. They were coming towards me. I stood there, unable to move. The temperature dropped so much I could see my breath in the air. The library door slowly opened by itself, and there she was, a young woman in a flowing red dress. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out of my mouth. The woman wasn't like a normal person, she was transparent, like morning mist. I could see the hallway wall through her body. Her sad eyes looked directly into mine, and she whispered in a soft voice, "Find my song. Please, find my last song." In the morning light, everything seemed less scary. I called Grandmother Rose and told her about the ghost. She laughed and said old houses make strange noises. But deep in my heart, I knew what I saw was real. The ghost wanted to tell me something important. I started searching the library for clues about the mysterious woman. Behind rows of dusty books, I found old newspapers from 1975. One headline caught my eye: "Famous violin teacher vanishes without a trace." The story was about Catherine Walker, a talented musician who taught violin in this house. The newspaper showed a picture that made me gasp. It was her, the ghost I saw. Catherine was wearing the same red dress, holding her beloved violin. The article said she disappeared just before an important concert. She was going to play a new song she had written, but she never arrived at the concert hall. Nobody ever saw Catherine again. The police searched everywhere but found nothing. Some people said she ran away, others thought something bad happened to her. But nobody looked in the right place. I had a strong feeling that the ghost wanted me to solve this old mystery. That evening, I heard the violin music again. This time, I wasn't afraid. I followed the sound to the library. The music seemed to come from behind the largest bookshelf. As I got closer, I noticed something strange about the wall. The old bookshelf moved when I pushed it hard. My hands were trembling with excitement. Behind it was a small wooden door, covered in cobwebs. The door handle was ice cold when I touched it. With a deep breath, I turned it slowly. The door opened with a loud creak that echoed through the library. Inside was a small music room that hadn't been touched since 1975. Sheet music lay scattered across an old desk, and Catherine's violin case sat untouched on a velvet chair. My flashlight beam caught something that made my heart stop. In the corner lay a skeleton wearing pieces of a faded red dress. I finally found Catherine's resting place. Next to her was an old notebook, its pages yellow with age. In Catherine's beautiful handwriting, I read her last words. She wrote about Thomas, the house's gardener, who had become obsessed with her. She had rejected his love many times, telling him her only passion was for music and her violin. One night, angry and heartbroken, he trapped her in this hidden room with her beloved instrument. The notebook's final pages held two things: Catherine's last melody, which she named My Final Symphony, and the tragic truth about Thomas. She wrote the song during her final days, hearing him walk past the hidden door, ignoring her cries for help. Her last written words were, "If someone finds this, remember me through my music." It was my truest love, my deepest joy, and now my final companion. The police arrested Thomas, now an old man living alone on the edge of Edinburgh. He confessed everything. At Catherine's funeral, her family finally found peace knowing the truth. They cried when they read her last melody. The notes told a story of love, not for a person, but for the pure beauty of music itself. 1 year later, I still live in the old house on Castle Street. Grandmother Rose moved in with me, and we filled the house with warmth and life. I practice violin every day in the library, which isn't scary anymore. It's my favorite room now, full of morning sunlight and music. I study at the Edinburgh Music Academy now, just like Catherine did. Her final symphony became my audition piece. When I play it, people say they can feel all the emotion she put into the music. Some even cry when they hear it. Catherine's story touched many hearts. Sometimes, on quiet evenings, I think I hear another violin playing along with mine. The sound is soft and sweet, like a gentle whisper. I'm not afraid anymore, I know it's just Catherine, playing her beloved music again. She finally found peace, and her song lives on. The old house taught me that every place has stories to tell. Some are happy, some are sad, but all of them are important. Catherine's ghost helped me find my path in life. Now I teach young children to play violin in the same library where I found her. Her music will never be forgotten. Last week, I gave my first big concert. I played Catherine's symphony for hundreds of people. As I played the final notes, I saw something that made me smile, a figure in a red dress standing in the back of the hall, clapping with tears in her eyes. Then she faded away, like morning mist in the sunshine.
Do you want to follow new stories and stay up to date with all the releases? Subscribe to the channel, like, and leave a comment so I'll know you're enjoying it.